Hi guys, how are we doing tonight? Looks like everything is good to go on this end. So, welcome to tonight's live stream. We are going to be working on this adorable sheep with a little play on words of Fleece Navidad, but with a sheep. So, looking forward to this one. Let's go ahead and say hi to everybody. Hello, Mina. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Estella. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Rick. Hi, Upper Sunnyside. I know people have new name tags. The name tags have been changed a little bit, but see. Hi, Kendale. Hi, Desiree. Hi, Steve. Awesome. Okay. Well, let's see. Hi, Vivian. About, go ahead and we'll get started here. As people are kind of filing in, I will just take a sanding pad and we'll lightly sand this just to lighten up some of our lines on the sheep. Doesn't take a whole lot, but just a little bit. Okay, and that is good. Okay. Alrighty. Steve, doing well, thank you. Just busy as always, it seems like. Hi, Cynthia. Oh, Upper Sunnyside is Cynthia. Cool. Alrighty, we'll get, I'll memorize everybody's new tags here. Alrighty. So I've been kind of thinking about how I want to approach this, and as a beginner project, you know, I like to kind of stick with more line work. But this will be fun. I think the first thing I'm going to start is we'll start working on the text. It has been a little while since we did any project with text, so let's zoom in here and we'll do a little bit of a refresher on text if my camera will cooperate. Kind of. Okay. So anytime that I would burn text, I do like to kind of outline it first and then I'll fill it in. This, we have two different fonts here. This one's nice and chunky, so it's much easier to burn. This one, down here is a little bit more narrow, and it has these evil feet. My mom calls them feet, which can be a little bit more difficult to burn. So the smaller the text is, the more difficult that's going to be. But this is, you know, what, probably 1 inch tall, so I think we'll be just fine with our text. But we'll get kind of warmed up here by starting on this at the top. Okay. And to do the initial outlining, I am going to start with the mini flow point that comes with the Versatool kit. Hi, Mellow Yellow. You don't have to do this, but I find that it's easier, especially for some of these tight areas in here, to go with the mini flow point. You could do this with the flow point too, but I find it's a little bit too chunky sometimes. And this font up here reminds me of sheep fluff. So I think it is pretty appropriate for the project. It's up to you whether you want to, pull the burner down or push the burner up. Either way is fine. Just kind of find a position that works best for you. Like way out of the camera there. So yeah, I hope everybody is having a fantastic week. Cynthia or Vivian is asking if we're still eating turkey. Oh gosh, I think I still have a little bit of turkey soup left over. We used to, traditionally we would make a cream turkey and then you would put it on toast. And so that was really good. But I decided to do something different this year, and I made a turkey soup with potatoes, carrots, and celery. Kind of simple, but it was good. We're almost done with that. So outlining with the mini flow point will help give me a little bit of a buffer when I switch over to the flow point. Hi Rhonda. Hi Terry. Terry, you guys went out to dinner and you missed the leftovers. Yeah, those are pretty good stuff. Yeah, for like I mentioned last time, we did our Thanksgiving a couple days early as part of our kind of memorial funeral service for my grandmother, and I made a 19-pound turkey, and I think we fed about 26 people, and then we're able to send people home with leftovers still. So had lots and lots of food. Glad that people were able to take it home. Otherwise, I probably would still be eating turkey too. Rick is saying it was hard to choose between this project and the runner-up was Santa Claus. It says, "Here comes Santa Claus." It's got a little cat on there. So I don't know, Terry, if we'll be able to do all three of them. I don't know. We'll have to see what everybody wants to do. So for the upcoming Friday night live stream, I think we're going to be working on a color project. So now I'm going to use this flow point in here to kind of fill in. And I'm going to try not to really mess up my lines there. Hello, Roman Glow. Welcome. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. But that's a very good question, Terry. We'll work on color this coming Friday. We'll do a color session. But the following Friday, if you guys want to do the Santa Claus, Here Comes Santa Claus project, we can do that. So it's up to you. What do you guys want to do? This is where I said it's not critical that you use the mini flow point. You can kind of block in this chunky text with the flow point. I just like I get a little bit of a crisper edge with the mini flow point and then the flow point, but it is up to you. All right, Terry, you're voting for doing the Santa Claus project. Okay. So this is pretty hot. I am getting a little bit of ghosting and overburn there. I suppose I could turn the burner down, but I'm just going to go for it. I'll kind of jump around so it doesn't get quite so ghosty. That orange glow. Estella's wondering if we can do all three. That is definitely a possibility. Let me take a look at my schedule coming up. It's amazing how Christmas is going to be here before we know it. And we'll take a look. I know we can get at least one of those projects done after the color. So looking at the calendar here, let's pencil in this Friday, the 5th, will be our color project. We'll work on that steampunk themed peacock and then maybe add some other color in there too. If you guys want. If you guys don't want to do that, we can do the other two Christmas themed projects and push the color one back. Totally up to you. But I will be available, let's see, the next 2 weekends for sure, the 5th and the 12th. Not sure on the 19th. I think I'll be available. Won't be available on the 26th, but I will probably be available on the 2nd. So most of this month I should be available. So let me know, you guys, what you want to do. If you want to push the color back a little bit and focus on the holiday themed projects, or you want to stick with that color and then finish out with those other two Christmas projects. But I'm 90% sure that I'll be available on the Friday before Christmas. Alrighty, so there we are. Something to be careful of with text this chunky. When you draw on your, like the dots, the center parts of the E, make those a lot bigger than you think they need to be, because as you burn, it kind of takes up that space, and it's a good chance you could not have those little center bits at all. So I just want to make sure that we keep those intact. All right, next we'll go down to the other text. Okay. My camera is being bad. Okay, so let me scooch over a little bit more. Okay, Terry says, go for the peacock. Estella is thinking you vote Christmas ones first and then the color project. Okay, yeah, throw out some ideas here for me, because it doesn't really matter one way or another for me, just whatever you guys want to create. All right, so with this one, I'm definitely liking to use the mini flow point, because then we can get in here and take care of the little tiny bits and the feet and all of that. And these fonts are a little bit whimsical, so they don't have to be perfectly straight and all that. Have some fun with it. Kendall, you're fine either way with the projects. Cool. Cynthia is also fine either way. Okay. Terry is thinking Christmas first. Okay. Yeah, just keep throwing out ideas there. You're neutral. Christmas first. Okay. Because I know that we've been wanting to do the color one for a while, but it's not as timely, I think, as the holiday projects. And then, yes, we could do all three of the fun projects. The next one is, you know, Here Comes Santa Claus with the kitty. That'll be fun. And then I love the expression on the little elk deer that was all tangled up in the Christmas lights. It just made me, you know, very happy, and I thought it was so cute. It's like he meant to get tangled up in the lights, and he was just so proud. So, and those are all beginner-based projects, so we should be able to easily finish those in one session. Now, if you're working with a wire tip burner, it can be really easy to turn your burner up too high, and then you'll get kind of that ghosty glow around your text. If you like that ghosty glow, cool, you're doing just fine. If you don't, then just go ahead and make sure you turn your temperature down a little bit, and that'll help to prevent that kind of ghosting. Boink, boink. So yeah, thanks for everybody that voted for the projects. This one, as of this morning, had the most votes. And so I went ahead and got the live stream set up and everything. And then a couple more votes came in for Here Comes Santa Claus, and they're tied. So they're both really neat projects, and I look forward to doing both of those. A little bit wobbly there. So how's everybody doing with their holiday preparations? I am pretty much behind as always. Boink. Kind of holding my breath here with these fine lines. It's easy to have an oops. Oh, Mina, you've finished your Christmas shopping today. You rock. That is awesome. I figured you would. That's really cool. Rick, you're not a big fan of Christmas, to be honest, but you love the time off from work. That's very good as well. Vicky, you done wrapped and under the tree. Wow. Oh, but you have Thursday. Oh, I hope your surgery goes well. Terry, you don't really do anything. You set up your 4-foot tree before Christmas. Oh, but your husband put lights on the house. Awesome. Cynthia, you rock too. Man, you guys are on top of it. Alrighty, so now that we have these outlined, you can either block them in or you can leave them open for color, whatever you want to do. I think I'll go ahead and block these in for now. You can also do stippling. You could even do like a gradient kind of a thing here. That might take me a little bit longer than normal. Kendall, you just have to buy for your mom, but you don't know what to get her. Oh, that's always the challenge, is trying to figure out what to get. This is where a smaller point really comes in handy for these little feet. They're kind of annoying. But another thing that you can do with these feet is turn the wood sideways like this, and that really helps a lot too. Then you can kind of, sometimes I'll just come through and work on those from this way. Get all of the horizontal stuff taken care of there. Desiree, you won't be able to have everything done with the 9-tailed fox that you wanted before Christmas. That happens though, yeah. And that's your last project for the season? Yeah. Well, it's, yeah, very cool, very cool. Hi. Oh, are you boxed in? No, she can get down. Okay. There she goes. Okay, thank you. Let's see, last order of kind of business, or my question for you guys. I have an opportunity to be a guest speaker, or guest artist, I guess you could say, with a certain lovely group, and it would either be, I think, I want to say it's either 1 p.m. Mountain Time or I think 8 p.m. Mountain Time. Just wondering what if you guys are able to attend, if one time works better than the other, afternoon or evening. But if you're familiar with Burn Club Plus, I've been invited to do a little class with them. So if you are a part of Burn Club Plus, that's really cool. And it would be, I think, either a Wednesday or a Thursday. Still working things out, and I didn't know what time might work for some of you guys that are part of that. Okay, now we're just filling in the rest of our lettering here. Let's see, Kendall, blankets, books, and slippers. Think outside the box. Mina, I don't know what date yet. I'm kind of leaning towards next week, like maybe Wednesday of next week. I need to talk to, I think it's Basha is how you say the name. Yes, Burn Club Plus. If you're familiar with the wood burning corner, or the wood burning corner. Anyway, it's another great group of wood burning folk, and they have kind of an open session. I don't know, Estella, if you can join a class or not. That's a good question, and one that I'll find out. But I'll talk with you guys on Friday before I do a class. Yes, Terry, I think Rachel is not as involved with it anymore. I think it's Basha, I think is her name, is kind of leads that now. But yes, same group. No, not Burn Savvy. Burn Savvy is somebody else. Can't think of her name. I want to say it's Michelle, but I don't know if that's true or not. So yeah, there's a lot of really wonderful people out there that also teach wood burning, and so it's kind of neat to do some collaboration and fun like that. Savvy. I don't think so. That's a different gal, Terry, I'm pretty sure. No, it's the Woodburn Corner was Rachel's project. Rachel and Basha? Anyway, I'll find out some more information and then probably get with you guys on Friday when we reconvene and work out any of the details, and I'll let you know kind of how that all works. Yes, there you go, Mina. It's the Woodburn Corner, and it's called the Burn Club. Yes. But I'm not sure if it's the Burn Club or the Burn Club Plus. I will find out for that. Very excited. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I don't know what I'm going to teach yet. We'll kind of see what they're interested in too. But I think it's great to work together and support our fellow artists and teachers. All right, so here we go, Fleece Navidad. Already you can see that the text that I burned is still a little bit thicker, more bold, kind of chunky. But that's okay. All right, so let's jump on down here to Mr. Sheep. And see, okay. So I think he is so fluffy. I'm trying to decide if I want to put in some outlines and to what extent. Well, I know I want to outline and kind of darken up those feet, so we'll start there. Vivian, I think you're right. Yeah, I need to look more into it as well. Okay, let's outline the feet. It's got cute little toes, hooves, you know what I mean. All right. Yeah, this guy is super fluffy, but I think I will go ahead and put in a few outlines. I'll try to break it up a little bit. I won't do any big outlining with the flow point. We'll keep it kind of more delicate. Get these eyes in place. And I like the shadows under the, we'll go ahead and outline the scarf too. Kind of a difficult angle, but we'll just keep doing the best we can. If I could see, that would be great. All right, let's go ahead and put just a faint light outline on the scarf. Then we have some tassels. Is the dog in or out?
In.
Okay.
She thinks she wants out.
She thinks she wants out. Oh, and I think
Feels like 11.
somebody said up above, I forgot when we first started, somebody was going to get some snow, like what, 4 inches? Who was that? I think I was answering other questions at the time. We got, about maybe an inch of snow, but now it's really cold. We saw 10 degrees last night, so a little bit nippy. Cynthia was supposed to get snow. Oh boy, wow. It seems kind of late. We haven't received much snow yet this year, which is a little concerning. Okay, I think let's also outline the hat. Oh, okay. Thanks, Nina. So yeah, Burn Club is open to the public and Burn Club Plus is a paid platform. Cool. All right, let's outline the hat. And then I think that'll be the most of it. Then I'll probably switch to the the shading point. I just can't get a good. Well, that's exciting, Cynthia. I hope you get lots of snow, if you like snow. I know that so many parts of the country are too dry. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. Now I'm going to switch over to the shading point and we can do some lighter outlines around all the fluff and the ears and all that. Hi, Google user. You're saying Western North Dakota got 8 inches last week. Wow. Well, I'm glad that somebody's getting the snow. We had a lot of wildfires here last year, so we're definitely praying for more snow. Although a couple years back, we didn't have much until like Christmas or New Year's, and then it started snowing and it just didn't stop. And we wound up with about 6.5 feet of snow total that year, which was really good. So as far as a beginner project, we definitely do a little bit more line work, and that is totally fine. But as we've talked about in the past, if you kind of vary the intensity of the lines, it really gives it a different look. So I wouldn't want to take something delicate like this fluffy sheep and outline everything with, say, the flow point, that big chunky one. I think it'd be a little overwhelming for our delicate little fellow here. So I take into account the subject matter as well, as far as if I decide to do or how much outlining I'll do. It's got a cute little face. Desiree, no offense, but you don't like the snow. Terry has a friend, lives around Lake Erie. They got 26 inches today. Wow. And they're going to get 8 to 20 tomorrow. Holy cow.
Where's that?
Lake Erie.
Oh. Lake effect.
Yeah, that lake effect. Yeah. Desiree, you just can't handle the cold anymore. Oh, I understand that. All right, bring on the fluffy rolls here. Fluff, fluff, fluff. We can go a little bit darker down here just because the undercarriage of the sheep is a little bit in shadow. right, Brian. You're in Saguaro County in Arizona. Oh, you don't usually see snow. Yep. Wow. Vivian says 26 inches is almost half your height. Oh dear. Vicky says as long as you don't have to go anywhere, you're happy to sit by the wood stove and watch it out the window. That I agree. It gets a little bit of a challenge when you have to go someplace in it. Alrighty, we'll get some of these lines here too. So we'll spend a little bit of time here putting in kind of the structure and the line work, and then we'll do just a little bit of shading here and there to give this snuggled up fellow a little bit of form. Come on. Okay, we'll kind of get around the face. Okay, so that's a good start. Let's see here. To start in a little bit of our shading, let's pick out some of the darkest areas of the project and we'll put those in first. So here we have a little bit of the crease of the hat, and this area here is in shadow. And we'll block that in as well. Terry, you went from Florida to South Carolina, and you shiver when it's that cold. I would imagine the Florida heat would be hard to breathe in. That's pretty wild. I'm okay with dry heat. Alrighty, we're focusing on the darkest areas of our project. These are almost like a level 5, which is almost as dark as our text. So we'll get those in place. And then we'll just kind of stair step up the shading scale ladder a little bit. And then we'll work on our dark midtones, and then our midtones, and then our light midtones, and we'll be about wrapped up. Some shadows under here. No. Do not restart my computer. Remind me next century. Okay. Cynthia, it's 25 degrees where you're at. We're right about that same. Are we still in the teens, hon, on temperature?
Feels like 11. It's 17 currently.
So yeah, 17 feels like 11 where we're at right now.
No breeze.
Ah, Vivian, yeah, as long as you're in with the AC, I agree, that works. I'm just pushing these darks a little more. Oh, that's a very good question, Mina. Thank you. Mina is asking about the calendar pre-orders. I still have those open just for a little bit longer. So if you don't have your calendar ordered yet, you'll need to get that ordered right away, probably this week at the latest. I can probably hold that open a little bit. I have received some calendars in already, so those of you that have already pre-ordered calendars, I will get your stuff packaged up and it should be shipping out later this week as well. But for anybody that did not get a calendar yet, an art calendar, Mina has the link in the chat there. Thank you, Mina. And definitely get you a calendar. It features some of the last projects of over the last year that we did, most of them here on the live stream. So it's really fun. And kind of lets you get in the wood burning mode all year long. Okay, so we do have some little bit of a checkered pattern here on this little fellow. Rick, take a look at the link that Mina put in the area there, the chat. I do a calendar each year. I have for the last several years now, and it just features some of the artwork that we've done over the past year. And usually I do a black background around the art, but this year I did some a little bit more fun, interesting backgrounds to showcase the time of the year. Oh boy. Desiree says it's not very hot in Florida, it's just very humid. Oof. I can imagine. So I'm going to come back to these hooves, just kind of let them cool down a little bit. All right, let's see. Some of the other darkest areas we have would be right here. And then we're going to do a little bit of a gradient to where it's just going to get lighter as we come up the tail end of the hat. And I can kind of redarken that shadow a little bit as well. So he's definitely looking like an ugly duckling. We've got stuff kind of everywhere right now, but I'm just trying to jump around and focus mostly on the darkest values of the project. Because it's been a while, I think, since I did the shading scale kind of a tutorial. You know what? I kind of like a little shadow or a highlight on those toes, so I'm going to leave that. Okay, let's see. Next, we're going to move... Oh, I still have a few super darks down in here. Okay. Next, we'll move on to kind of our darker mid-tones. These ones are still have a lot of nice value to them, really nice and rich and dark, but they're not as dark as the level 5s. So these are level 4s. And we have a little bit there as well. Let's see, and that'll be the darker stripes on the scarf. So I wound up a week or two ago taking the time to sand a bunch of wood for the upcoming winter because sometimes I don't know if I'll have dry conditions, and I think I wound up sanding almost 50 pieces of wood. A lot of them, you know, this size, 5x7 and kind of in that range, so that we have options for the next year's live streams. Which it's amazing that we're already to the end of 2025. Okay, still working on our darker mid-tones here. Yeah, Terry. It took me several hours to get all that done. Okay, this bottom part of the hat down here is also still pretty dark. Get that in there. Vivian, you sand 5 pieces and you're due for a nap. Yeah, I was exhausted when I was done, but it took several hours, Mina, and that's with an orbital sander too. Because I usually start with do everything with 220, and then go back and do everything with 320, and then 400, and then 600. So I think I was starting to get a sunburn too after all that. Terry, you sanded 21 pieces. Oh boy, that's about as big as mine were too. Terry was about an 8x10. I didn't do a lot of bigger ones, just so that I had enough for the upcoming live streams. All right, also kind of a nice darker mid-tone is in the inside of the ear. And I'm not really worrying about texture so much. I'm just doing some smooth shading, and that's working out just fine. So this is going to be a little darker up here towards the top. Okay, and then we definitely have some little chunky dark areas. Oh, kind of in here. So a lot of curved lines to indicate the wool. And then areas of the wool that's going to look deeper and farther away, more fluffy, you're going to darken those areas up here. Cynthia, the most you've sanded is about 10 pieces. That's still a lot. It takes a lot of time. Brian is asking if it's possible to buy this burner straight from Walnut Hollow or just through Walmart or Michael's. Walnut Hollow, the last ad that I know of, is out of business for right now. You can still get some of the Versatools on the market. I would check maybe Amazon. I have not seen them. I've not seen them at Walmart in a while, but Michael's might still have some inventory as well. Mina is absolutely right. Yep, sanding is a very important step in the process of creating smooth pyrography art. You say that so well. Very, very true. I think one of the first pieces of wood that I worked on, I had my husband cut it with a chainsaw. I didn't sand it, didn't plane it, anything, and it was really rough. But that taught me that you need to sand the wood. So very important. Yep. All right. So we have lots of little shadows in the fluff area here. You're welcome, Brian. Vivian, you saw some at Hobby Lobby. Cool. Yeah, there are still some here and there that you can get. Okay, where are we? Have some down here. And a little bit up here. Alrighty. He is looking pretty cute. Alrighty, let's see. We have a few darker tidbits kind of back in here. It's like he has sideburns of fluff. Rick is saying your first wood burning was on nasty pine and no amount of sanding would help. I agree. Yep, I think we've probably all been there. Yep, pine, not my favorite type of wood either. Okay, so we kind of have our darks, our level 5s, and we have our darker midtones, level 4s. Now let's go ahead and put in some of our midtones. Those are a level 3. So we're just gradually getting a little lighter and just jumping around the project and burning a little bit more of the values as they get lighter and lighter. Everybody's like, yeah, we don't like pine. Pine is pretty difficult. If you get kiln dried pine, I've heard that it's a bit better, but it's still pretty gnarly, I think. Okay, so we're gonna have our, this one here is not quite dark enough. I'm gonna hit that again. Vivian says the only way to help pine is to laminate it. That would work, yeah. I wouldn't advise burning over it then, but absolutely. All right. Let's go a little darker. I like the roundedness of the scarf, so I'm going to try to keep a few highlights in there. Mina says that pine leaves you pining for better wood. Very good. Yep, not a fan. All right, so let's put in the top part of our hat. If I can get into the right position here. Definitely turn the wood. It makes everything so much easier. Okay, and then we have more shadows in this area here. So there's several different ways to think about shading. You could shade the hat and just make sure that all the hat is done. You could bounce around a little bit like I am with the different values. It's really up to you. I try to show often different ways maybe to consider how to burn, because there's really no right way, there's no wrong way. Well, there's a couple wrong ways. Don't burn on finished wood. That's not good. But as far as your technique and how you approach a wood burning, it's really up to you. You don't have to tackle it the same way that I do, by far. So I kind of tried to switch it up a little bit to give you guys different maybe perspectives on ways that you can approach a subject. I'm gonna get under here. So now we can do the rest of the gradient on the ear. And a little bit of shading here. But this fellow is just gonna be nice and soft and fluffy is our goal. A shadow. And this is just kind of like round one of shading. A lot of times I will put everything in place like this, and then I'll go back and we'll take another look at it, and we can kind of do some adjustments. I usually push the darks a little bit darker and just kind of fine tune the values a little bit. Terry, you did a small 3-inch round somebody gave you as a gift. You burned your dog on it. It added color. It was rough, but you got through it. If anyone would like to see it, it's in the member gallery. Awesome. Thanks, Terry. Cynthia says pine is difficult and leaves you with breathing issues. Yeah, I don't like to breathe the smoke from pine either. Brian is asking, have people done wood burnings on cutting boards or other items that needed to be food safe? And if so, what wood would you suggest? Mina, we have a wood toxicity chart on Wood Burning University. Would you mind grabbing that link? Brian, I would suggest taking a look at this wood toxicity chart. It takes you to a link that talks about all the different types of wood and how possibly toxic they are. There are some that are just fine, others you should avoid, but that would be a good place to start. Thanks, Mina. Let's see. Desiree talks about using cherry for a charcuterie board. Yep, cherry is very good. I think you can use basswood. You can use aspen. Aspen is like a herbal medicine. The inner bark is medicinal, so aspen would be safe to work on. I would say anything that has edible fruit, like apple wood, cherry, things like that would probably be a good safe place to start as well. I think birch is okay. Another thing that you'll want to do if you're going to be wood burning a cutting board is to make sure that you use like a food grade sealant or oil for it. There's, what is it, guys, like butcher's block oil or something like that. There are different protective substances that you should put on there as well. Mina, you found it. Nice. Okay, yep, that's a wood toxicity chart, and that's a great one for anybody that's just getting into wood burning and you don't know if a certain wood is safe to burn on or not. Okay, so kind of jumping around here a little bit, but you can see as I am working from the darks to the lights, we're slowly starting to fill stuff in. And this next stage here is one of my favorites, and that's where we just kind of start jumping around and blending everything in. We're putting in our lighter mid-tones. Those are level 2s, and this will make everything soften up and blend together and just look sweet and lovely. My burner is still on full heat. You don't have to do that. If you're more comfortable turning the burner down, I would advise that. It's just a little easier to control if the temperature is turned down. So I'm trying to blend together from the darker areas that we've already put in place and just kind of soften those out and just make a gradient is all I'm going to do, and just pull that shading lighter and lighter. And a lot of times I'll just blow on the point too. That works just fine. Let's see. Terry, you gave that wood burning. Oh, okay, I see. You still have another one to burn. You'll see if you'll ever figure out what to burn. Oh, that's neat. Alrighty. So still just softening. Some of these areas here. Okay, this is all pretty light on that ear. This is darker. We can put more shading there. Okay. Kind of soften this up and blend that together. So instead of turning the burner down, I'm just burning a little bit faster, and you can hear me, you know, tick tack, as I'm kind of landing and taking off with each time that I put the burner on the wood. And we're doing good on time. I will probably, once we get this all in place, I will probably go back and kind of do some just value adjustments. I'll probably push the darks, balance out the mid-tones, and it's kind of how I usually like to finish off a project. But I'm just trying to focus on keeping my shadows on the underside of each of these clumps here. That creates a nice little fluffy, rounded cloud appearance. And then, as we see here in the picture, the whole under part of the sheep is going to be a little bit darker. So we'll come back in and kind of push those values a little bit more too. Hey, hun.
Yes.
Would you advise our eldest to close his door, please?
Yeah, the volume's coming up a little bit.
A little bit, thank you.
I'm happy about something.
Mm-hmm. Kendale is asking, is it okay to have a distinct dark line and then a gradient? You say, I always feel like I've made a mistake if they don't blend seamlessly. It's totally up to you, and it depends on the type of style. Like for this one, I wanted some heavy outlines. For example, like right in here, we can kind of blend this out a little bit more to make it look more seamless. That's totally fine. It's up to you. It doesn't have to be seamless. Sometimes those dark lines can be helpful. If you don't like them, just kind of take and darken those gradients like this, especially on curved or like rounded areas. Like his scarf, the closest part is going to be right here, and as it recedes around the neck, it's going to get farther away. So you can change things up and do your own thing and blend that in a little bit more. It's totally fine. Now, if I was going to be doing wood burning of a portrait, I wouldn't put these heavy outlines in the first place. But since this is a beginner project, I like to start with outlines because a lot of beginners do that. Good night, Cynthia. I hope you sleep really well. 5 is early, so lots of sleep headed your way, I pray. But no, very good question, Kendale. And it's kind of personal preference. You can also kind of think about what your kind of style is that you're going for. And if you don't like that really dark line to begin with, if you feel it seems unfinished, then I would just go ahead and start with a softer line to begin with. And then you don't have to kind of blend it in so much. But it does change the look for sure, whether you leave that outline or we could kind of soften it a little bit here. And tone it down. Either way is fine. But yeah, I do that too. A lot of times I'll kind of go back and massage those a little bit and blend them some more. Okay. Oh, I was here. You bet. So yeah, this underbelly here needs to be darkened up a little more. Because, and I'll probably darken the sides too, because we want to create that rounded illusion. So if you imagine he's like a cotton ball, the closest part to the viewer is going to be kind of like right here in the belly area. And then as the sheep kind of wraps around here and here, to create that rounded effect, I'll add more shadow on either side. And then same thing with the roundedness of the belly. From the top to the bottom, you'll want darker here and darker there. So we'll want to have a nice kind of highlight area there, more in the middle. And sometimes that will be kind of a contradiction to your reference photo. So it's up to you if you want to follow the reference photo to a T, totally fine. You can also kind of improvise a little bit like I'm doing here. I just know that I want him to be more rounded and fluffy, so I will concentrate more of my shading on the outer areas of the fluff. Let's see, Terry, you found out there's a lumber company only 5 minutes away. Cool. They have a bargain shed. Oh, that is so neat. I can't wait to see what you get. Oh, now you're making me jealous, Terry. Your local lumberyard has cherry, poplar, walnut, maple, box elder. That's pretty. Pecan, red cedar, beech, sycamore, birch, holly, and Bradford pear. Yeah, Terry, I think there are a couple in there that you might not want to burn on. I kind of think cedar could be toxic. Holly. Trying to think of... No, that's hemlock. Yeah, hemlock is bad. Hemlock is poisonous. You might want to take a look, Terry, at that wood toxicity chart as well, just to kind of brush yourself up on that. I'm not an expert in unsafe woods to burn on, so definitely take a minute to check out Mina's link there, and just so you don't wind up buying wood that you can't burn on. I would imagine pear would be fine. Anything that I think produces edible fruit should be okay, but don't quote me on that. Check the link just to be sure. I know. We all need to go to Terry's house. We're gonna come visit. We'll go wood shopping. Oh, you have the chart printed out, Terry. Awesome. Okay, and yes, I bet your lumberyard would know as well. That would be a great place to ask also. Okay, so I am kind of pushing my values a little bit more here on the outside. We need to bring some shading up from the bottom here. Rick, you like to burn on birch. That is some nice wood too. Yeah, birch is pretty easy to get. Aspen is lovely as well. All right, I'm thinking cotton balls here. We have little poofy areas that just are darker on the bottom. Darker at the top. Oh, definitely need darker in here too. Terry says the only one that you've burned on is poplar, and that was your eagle and flag. Cool. Yeah, that's a nice selection there. So even though my reference photo doesn't show it, I am going to push the values a little bit more on the edges. And just make sure that we blend them in a little bit. Now, if I had a really strong light source, I might not want to do that. But right now it looks like the light source is coming down from overhead. So I'm just going to go ahead and make him a little bit more rounded because I want to. Darker towards the top. And on the edges. And then a lot of this down here is going to be just nice soft shading there. All right, he's a cotton ball with feet. You're asking if poplar is the one with a green tint to it. That's a good question. It could vary based on the wood too. I've seen aspen wood with all kinds of different colors, from greens and pinks and yellows and oranges. We cut a lot of firewood aspen, and some of it's just gorgeous inside. I can't remember which one has kind of more of a green tint to it. It could be poplar. What else could it be? Like a, I can't think of the word, spalted? Spalted. Something with spalting in it could be as well. Okay, so looking at Mr. Sheep here, we need a little bit of softening here. Thanks, Vivian. We're getting there. Okay, next I do want to add, a touch of shading under the scarf. It's not going to be a lot, just to kind of make that scarf pull forward and the fluff kind of push back a little bit more. And we can do that under here too, just to give it a little bit more of a 3D kind of appearance. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I know your shadows should be kind of more consistent, but the way everything's tucked in here, I think I'll just put a shadow on this side of the scarf. And kind of underneath too. All right, I keep thinking that he's missing arms, but he's standing on his feet. Alrighty, let's see. His face is pretty flat right now, but if we add just a touch of soft shading, kind of from the bottom up, that will help. So in that case, to get that really soft blend, I want to set and then lift as I go from dark to light. I won't do a return trip. A lot of times I'll go forwards and then backwards. In this case, I'm just going to go up, up, up. Okay, so we always have to ground our critters or subjects, so we don't want a floating sheep. So we'll just put in a little bit of shadow underneath, and this will ground him. Brian says you're not sure about the other woods, but poplar does have kind of some of that green tint. That's cool. Terry says, yep, poplar can have a greenish tint, especially in its heartwood. This color often fades to brown over time. Okay, that's probably why I don't think that I've seen fresh poplar. The green tones are more pronounced when the wood is freshly cut or unfinished. I love it. Thanks, Terry. Okay, so I'm gonna probably darken this up a little bit more. Okay, so I think also while I'm here and we're working kind of sideways, I'm going to soften this transition between that outline and the hat, and also I want that more of a rounded appearance. So I'll soften this transition here a little bit. And then blend it. Blend, 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 blend. Okay, and then I think a little bit in here too. Okay, I think I need a little bit more softening and kind of filling in on the hat. And then maybe a touch more up here. Sometimes it's just kind of hard to get in the right angle unless you turn that wood a little bit. I'm going to push the shadows under the eyes as well. Okay, now let's take a look. He is super cute. I kind of lost my definition in here with all that shading, so I'm going to burn these lines again. I think that that helped a little bit. Because where stuff kind of really is farther away, like you really have to wiggle your fingers in underneath that area there, that's where you can have those darks really show up. Oh, thanks, Roman Glow. This is fun. This is a really fun project. Let me kind of zoom out a little bit and get a better picture. He turned out a little bit overall darker than I kind of thought I was gonna do, but that's okay. As we know, wood burnings can kind of soften and fade a little bit with age anyway, so if I think that he's maybe a little bit too flat, I can't really go lighter, but I can push some of our darks a little bit more here around the edges and underneath. So I think I'm going to adjust that. I'll just make those areas a little darker, and that'll make him kind of heavier, give a little bit more weight to the bottom. And then you won't notice kind of some of the, yeah, it won't be so flat. Thanks, Terry. Thanks, Mina. Have a good night, Desiree. Thanks for being here. Oh, dear. Your pup is gassing you out of your office. Oh, dear. I hope your puppy's feeling better. Alright, so that's working a little bit better. And then I think I want to tone, I like the highlights on his hooves, but I don't want them that bright. That's better. And then maybe just a touch darker on that shadow. Ouch. Okay. Little sideburns are looking good too. So yeah, I think we're about there on this one, guys. I'm running out of a few things to kind of nitpick. Okay, you know what we can do, since we have a little bit of time, is we can add some white colored pencil, because that is always a great way to just give it some extra pop. So I should have, yay, I do. Let's see. As far as where we're going to add some white colored pencil, it has gone by really fast tonight, Terry. I agree. Come on, a little bit more. Okay. So it's a white fluffy sheep, but I still want to reserve the whites for the most highlighted areas. My pencil is pretty sharp, and if I just press down like I'm going to write something, I can actually dent the wood, and I won't have very smooth shading. Let's see if I can kind of show here on the back, especially if I go with the grain and I'm more upright. I can put a groove in the wood there, and it'll be very hard for me to shade and kind of blend that out. So when I'm going to shade something kind of broad that needs to be blended, I want to hold my pencil at a really low angle, like almost flat on the wood, and then just carefully go back and forth or in circles. That is one of the mistakes that I made as a beginner going for colored pencil with the wood burning. I was too aggressive with a colored pencil, and it would not blend together very well. So hold it at a lower angle. A less sharp pencil would also be helpful. And on that note, I think because it is pretty sharp, I'm going to start here on the smaller areas first. Now where you've burned, the colored pencil won't adhere as well to the wood, but instead of just staying right here in the highlight, I am going to pull some of that colored pencil down a little bit, and it'll kind of settle in some of the areas that are not burned as much. Let's see, we can go on to face here. And I like that little nose. So real flat angle, working in circle motion, that'll make it blended much better. And we can start adding some of the fluffy areas here as well. And you'll notice it just really jumps forward as far as the areas that have not been burned. Whereas, like, see, I'm going over these same burned areas, and it's just not wanting to stick to the wood very well. So one thing you'll notice if you add colored pencil, you'll notice areas that you didn't maybe blend very, very well with the burner in some of those lighter areas. if that makes sense. The white colored pencil acts as kind of like a magnifying glass to your stroke pattern, because you can see which way I was going there. And just a side note of safety, once you add any sort of pigment, please do not go back over and wood burn over any sort of pigment, color, dye, stain, finish, you name it. It's just not safe to do. You don't want to be breathing toasty colors. You know, this little guy, he just makes me laugh. I like it. Now I'm probably not going to add maybe a highlight in the darker areas of the scarf. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how, if it looks unbalanced here in a minute. So as I come down on the sheep, I want to kind of start focusing more on some of the highlights of the upper kind of rolls. You could also do some acrylic paint with this, and like even paint snow on him if he's kind of outdoors in the snow. I know it's been a couple years back, we did a project where I flicked paint, white acrylic paint on a project to give it kind of some snowflakes. That was a lot of fun. You could do that with this piece as well. I don't know, I might put a little bit of a highlight in here. Oh guys, I like it. I'm going to brighten this part up here as well. And you can layer your colored pencil too. If you need to add a little bit more in certain areas, you can do that. And I don't know if I have my blending. I do. So if you like adding colored pencils to a project, definitely take a look at getting this colorless blender. I usually use Prismacolor. I just really like their products. And this is a great way. It's not as noticeable with just white, but it is a great way to kind of push the pigment of the white around. See, it does blend much better. You don't see quite as many of those strokes there. And this just kind of helps massage the color into the wood fibers. As I find that the color likes to sit more on top. And so by just massaging these in place, see, that's already looking a lot softer there than say down here. It's still kind of chunky. This is a game changer for me, I think, is the colorless blender. Mina, yes, the snowy forest. It was 3 years ago. Oh my gosh, guys, we have been doing live streams for years now. That's awesome. Vivian, do I have the blending pencil in my store? On the Amazon storefront? Yes, I do. Or I did. It should still be available. I know some of the things that I had in there are no longer available. But yeah, I would say take a look and see if you can find it, because I did have it on the Amazon storefront. That is much better. I like that a lot more. Okay. Just kind of massage everything in place here. You bet, Vivian. And so this one, the pencil is a little bit, oh, it's not as sharp, so I can press a little bit harder. But I really like the circular motion, because I think it distributes the colored pencil very nicely. Ah, Mina has the link to the Amazon store. Thank you, Mina. Let's go a little bit here. And, you know, I keep wiping the wood because you do get a little bit of crumbles of leftover colored pencil there. But that definitely helps smooth the colored pencil into place. Alrighty, guys. Well, we're a little bit early, but I think that this project is pretty well there. Let me know if you have any questions along the way. Or that white just really made it pop. And I'll think about the project for this Friday. I'm leaning towards, let's get these Christmas holiday themed burnings done over the next couple weeks, and then we'll be able to jump into the color, and hopefully everybody's kind of settled in for Christmas and holidays if you need a little extra time. Thanks, Google user. Thanks, Mina. But yeah, I'm leaning towards, we'll just get the holiday themed ones done first. That way, if anybody wants to give their project as gifts for the upcoming holiday, you have time to do that. Also, make sure that you get your order for your calendars in this week as soon as you can. Some of the other people will be getting theirs in the mail. I'll be putting those in the mail this week as well. And I think that that is the majority of the information. Awesome. Thanks, Kendale. Thanks, Rick. Ah, Mina, thanks for the link for the calendars. So if you're interested in a calendar, definitely take a look at that. I only have a limited number, and once I'm out, I'm out. I don't order anymore because it yeah, it's a limited time just to keep things simple for Christmas. So awesome. All right, well, thanks again. I love your guys' choice on this project. Thanks for joining in, and I will see you this Friday, same time, same place. We will probably do the next wood burning, Here Comes Santa Claus, with the kitty. So alrighty, thanks again, guys, and have a great night. I will see you on Friday. Bye.